Hi, it's Carla. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I'll be teaching you how to paint cherry blossom flowers inspired by my trips in Japan during spring. So, I have uploaded the line art in my IG story. You can head over there and then grab it. And you can either print it on your watercolor paper or trace the drawing if you want to, so that you don't have to have the difficulty of um, drawing or sketching the flower. So I hope that you're all okay. I decided to upload another line art, another watercolor tutorial because I think we all need something to keep going. So I hope that you enjoy this short tutorial. This is very easy, even I think easier than the other tutorials that I uploaded. And speaking of the other tutorials, I'd like to thank you for the warm responses for my stargazer and for my white anemone flowers. Get um, I still get tagged on those outputs that you create, and they're so beautiful. So keep them going, and I'll be sharing them in my IG stories. So without further ado, let's get started on painting these cherry blossoms.
Okay, so once you have your line art ready, let's get started on painting our cherry blossoms. I am using a Holbein Albireo 300 GSM cold press paper to paint this flower. Right now I'm getting ready to paint, so dipping my brush in my water and choosing the color that I'm going to use. So the colors that I'm going to be using in this tutorial is going to be posted on the screen so that you have a reference. But if you don't have the exact colors, you can make do with what you have. I'll be sharing if I have any alternatives that you can use, but you can basically do this with just a simple basic watercolor palette. So right now I'm using my Holbein Shell Pink and diluting it, so I don't want something very intense since this is just my first wash and we want the cherry blossom to have very pastel, soft, feminine pink color. So I'm just swatching the shell pink that we are going to use. So if you've seen cherry blossoms, then you'd know that they're a little white, almost white, in a slight pink, blush pink color. So that's what I want to aim here. I'm gonna start light because again, if you're doing watercolor, it's a lot easier to adjust the colors if you start with a light base. If you go with a dark in the first one, unless that's what you want or what the drawing should look like, then I suggest you start with a light wash. So I'm just adding a light pink wash on my cherry blossoms. I'm starting the the painting in the center, so that's where I want most of the pinks to appear. And I'm dipping my brush in water, cleaning it, and just moving the pigment that I put in the center towards the tip of the petals. So I've done two of them. And here we're going to do another cherry blossom. This one has not fully bloomed yet. So what we're gonna do is the same thing, shell pink. We're gonna start at the bottom of the flower bud. So once I've done that, I'm going to rinse my brush and move the pigment to the very tip. So this gives me a gradient of a very light pink to almost nothing in color. So it may look like you're not adding color. It may look like it's the color of the paper, but that's fine. We want to really make this as pale pink as possible. So I'm doing the other cherry blossom buds on the other side. So I hope that you're able to follow. I am using this really nice brush from Art Nebula. I got this recently. It's a Raphael 8504 imitation sable brush. So it's not a real sable brush. What I like about this is it's it's thin, so I can do details, and it's good for small works like this. Now that the shell pink is fully laid out, I am now using this other color. This is a Sennelier Rose Madder paint. So this is one of my favorite paints to use. I used a lot of this because it works so well with florals. So I'm gonna use this Sennelier and basically again start from the middle. I'm starting in the middle. I want the pink to come out in the middle and then just diffuse all the way to the tip. So very gently I am applying that. That's why I'm using this thin brush. I'm not using one of my thicker brushes for wet on wet or for covering large areas. There you go. So while I'm doing this, usually when I paint, I like to watch YouTube videos. So they can be either really chill videos or just something that will keep me entertained in the background. So there's like a background noise that I'm listening to, even though I'm fully focused on my painting. So I don't know if that's also how you paint, guys, or you like to paint in total silence, but that's how I usually work. I like either music to be playing or a YouTube video to be just playing in the background. So right now I like videos that show like chill Korean or Japanese home life. I think it's really relaxing to watch them and seeing how they clean their home, how they organize and cook. That for me is one of the things that I enjoy watching while we're in a lockdown. So here in this spot, I am doing the Sennelier Rose Madder again in the very tip at the bottom, and you can see that it's being diffused until all the way to the tip, and the tip is almost white, so I'm keeping that. I don't want it to be all pink. So the same thing I will apply in the other buds of this cherry blossom. So this is very simple. I'm surprised how simple it is. When I was painting, there wasn't a lot of steps that I could instruct you guys. This is just a very simple painting, but it's very relaxing to do this. You want to paint with as little little fuse as possible. Okay, so now we have finally laid out the pink. We are going to be painting the small branch next. I'm combining the burnt umber with the Sennelier sap green. That way the branch will look green but also woody. So combining those two would give us a really nice color. I have been squeezing out a lot of my Holbein paints on this custom palette because I realized that a lot of them are almost empty, but I haven't but they're very old already. So I want to force myself to use them. So I have emptied a number of my 5 ml Holbein paints. They were souvenirs from my Japanese travels before, and so I'm using them in this painting. So there you can see me using the thin tip of my brush to just paint the branches. There, it's very satisfying to just get a clean line when you're painting. That's why it's always a must to have like a brush that is gonna work for you. So now we are going to detail the center of the cherry blossom. This time I'm combining two of my colors, which I've already said in my previous video. It's a combination of violet and brown. So right now I'm using Holbein Mineral Violet and the same burnt umber. So that will give you a sort of neutral color. If you don't have this, you can use um, a gray or maybe a diluted um, black color. You can also combine opposite colors like red and green to get a neutral shade. So very, very carefully add the details of your cherry blossom. Add those dots that will represent the center. So we're almost done. So satisfying to see your drawing come together. So again, since you have the line art for this work, you don't have to worry if it doesn't come out um, as well as you hope. You can just keep on repeating. You can take inspiration from other cherry blossom drawings. Using the same neutral shade, I am just adding some of the outlines. I don't usually do outlines, but for light colored florals, I like to do it. That way you can see the florals when it's on the white paper. So just very, very carefully do the veins. Again, my tip on the veins is to follow the shape of the petal. So we're almost complete. I hope that you learned a lot in this video, and I can't wait to see what you've created. Don't forget to tag me in my Instagram with your works at Carla Kochua. I'll be happy to share your works from this tutorial. And again, don't worry so much about painting. Paint only when you want to, when you have the time, when you want to just feel relaxed and do something for yourself. This is something we do to just chill. Don't aim for perfection. We keep on practicing and we will improve in each painting. So comment down below if you have any requests for the next tutorial or if you want me to do any other kinds of video, questions on the process of how I paint or other stuff. So just comment below and I hope you subscribe, like this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!